Now, any deal must be done before Joe Biden leaves office. This is what is being said in West Asia and also in the corridors of power in Washington. For context, the United States is trying hard for a normalization agreement between the State of Israel and Saudi Arabia. But before we tell you Washington's connect in this, let's in fact try and analyze Saudi Arabia's relationship with Israel. It is complicated to say the least. Now, these are two nations that have been at loggerheads on some very fundamental issues. Now, experts say that Biden belongs to a school of thought that views the issue from one lens, and that is the Arab-Israeli conflict. And according to Biden's school of thought, apparently, the Palestinians are not necessarily central to resolving this crisis, which is why many experts are worried that while a normalization deal could be complex, it will not be transformative, and most definitely it will not lead to peace in West Asia. So what are the two sides saying at this moment? Now, everyone wants a barter. Riyadh is seeking a security pact with Washington, something on the lines of a NATO military alliance. It is also looking for a nuclear program. A civilian nuclear program is what is being underlined here. Now, for the State of Israel, at this point, anything that comes as a distraction from the domestic crisis or the judicial overhaul is going to be a big relief for Netanyahu. Israel has made no secret of its aspiration for formal ties with Saudi Arabia, which is a heavyweight in the region. And it is happening on the terms that suits Benjamin Netanyahu. That, of course, is the buzz on the diplomatic street. The report, in fact, suggests that the framework could, in fact, directly involve the Palestinians. But the big question is this: what is in it for the United States of America? Now, this is a region where Washington's influence is quite clearly waning. And it is waning at a much faster pace than was earlier anticipated. Now, remember, this is a region that used to be something that the United States assumed was its own backyard. From trade to diplomacy, the United States has had a strong say traditionally in this part of the world, but the world order is changing. Now, two things are at play here. One is the emergence of China and also the active role that the Chinese appear to be playing in diplomacy here. And secondly, the West Asian nations are realizing that they cannot depend on the United States alone for their security. Now, Iran is calling this nothing but a political ceasefire of sorts. Now, there is also a domestic interest for Joe Biden. The U.S. presidential elections are next year, but the campaigning has already started. And Biden's numbers are not looking very good at this moment. So much so that there are doubts within his own camp whether he will return to the White House again in 2024. So the incumbent is hoping that he can pull off a deal before the wind begins to change direction at home.